first man to go below 201. And I know everyone, we speak about generational talent. You know, we throw that word around quite a bit. Kiptum was generational talent.
On your screens right now, this is the burial site where the late Kelvin Kiptum will be laid to rest. The body has arrived, and they are standing just at the entrance of the new home that has been constructed by the Kenyan government. You can see there the Sports Cabinet Secretary, Ababu Namwamba, who arrived prior the arrival of the funeral procession. Of course, the hearse that had the remains of Kelvin Kiptum. And we can see senior members of clergy who understand that apparently they plan to do something special before the burial Wakabi. They want to bless the home that has been constructed in record 7 days. They plan to just ensure that by the time the family is moving in, there's positive energy, I would assume. That's what perhaps they want to do. They want to bless it. Remember, Kiptum, according to his wife, was somebody who was a member of the ACK Church. And for them, prayer, reflection, blessings, I get a sense of it's a family that really had religion central in anything that they did. And for them to get a new home, unfortunately, during very, very difficult period in their lives, that they would have clergy coming and just blessing the house before they move in. And this house is situated just where the burial site is. Earlier on, we had gotten a sense of exactly where it's where the CS Murkomen is just addressing the family and friends and other government officials. It's just on the right of your screen. It's just a few distance. It's within the compound because these are some of the wishes of Kelvin Kiptum's dad. He stated that he'd want him to be buried within that parcel of land. Lois had also touched on the size of it as well to give us an idea of where it was. It's fenced with the chain link fence to ensure protection. Obviously, a lot will be done. I saw somebody commenting on social media that perhaps, hopefully, some trees will be planted there, some grass will be planted there as well. But we must appreciate that this was a parcel of land that was bare, but now it has a new home that will be hosting the family of the late Kelvin Kiptum. They have arrived, just to confirm, for those who have just joining us for this live broadcast. This is an area called Naiberi. It's in Uasin Gishu County. This procession left about an hour and 5 minutes ago from the funeral service that was graced by the President, William Ruto, the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, and other senior government officials who had attended it. And it was also, of course, graced by the Nike Vice President, a senior Nike executive officer. He was there as well. We had the World Athletics President, Sebastian Coe. We had the Athletics Kenya President, Jackson Tuwei. He was there as well. And we had so many athletes from years ago, athletes who have raised the Kenyan flag high. They have shown very, very strong support for the late Kelvin Kiptum. You can see Kelvin Kiptum's father there, his wife just receiving the keys to the home. This is an official handing over of the house. So as we had expected, Wakabi, they are handing over the house first to the family. And they believe they will perhaps do the blessings if it hasn't happened already. Because we had a slight challenge, we apologize, with network, because it seems that it's been overwhelmed by the multitude of people who have gathered there just to continue paying tribute to the late Kelvin Kiptum. You can see Kelvin Kiptum's father there. On his left, we have the governor of Uasin Gishu County, Jonathan B. This home is within his county, and the county government has promised to do a lot in supporting the family. They will plan to do so much more to ensure that once this important period is concluded, much more needs to be done to support the family going forward. We had the president making a request that the wife, Asinath, should be supported in another special way by being given an opportunity to earn an income. Just remind ourselves that Kelvin Kiptum was the sole breadwinner of this family, of his young family, for the wife and the 2 kids, and obviously the extended family. You can see one of the members of the clergy here. Of course, he did the sermon earlier on, Wakabi. We hopefully will get a chance to listen in to what he's saying. But you can see their heads bowed down in prayer. They're blessing the home. They're blessing this abode where they're going to be moving in at an undefined time. We can see how special this entire day of, I would say, yes, it's a farewell. Yes, it's about paying tribute, but it's also about celebrating a man who did so much for the country.
Yes, Bernard, the move by the government to make sure that there would be home, there would be a house for him where he's lived, and also not just for him, but even for his parents, for Samson Cheruiyot and Mary Kangogo, who are his parents. Really, really, really important, because look, when something like this happens, what else can you do other than be able to say goodbye in the best way possible? So it's a wonderful gesture by the government to make sure, you know what, at the very least, your family has a place to stay, not just your nucleus family, but also your parents. And as tough as it is today, you just hope that this is the start. And as you can see there, you spoke about blessings, and that would be probably what the clergy is doing, and they are just blessings before they can officially take ownership or be able to move into the house. But yes, you would want this to have happened in under different circumstances, but now that we are here, what do you do? So it's one of those things you look at and you think, yes, the government this has been really deliberate and really touching. The fact that you make sure at the very least there's able to be a house, because this is where he intended to settle his family. So this is able to happen, and hopefully Asenad and her 2 kids can build on from this. Hopefully, Mr. Samson Cheruiyot can feel something, because I was just reading somewhere where he kept saying that he wanted to meet the president. He's finally met the president, not in the best of circumstances, but once again, his son, who's really moved and made such huge changes in his life, is partly the reason why he has.
Bishop Paul Korir, that's the gentleman representing the clergy. He of course made earlier on he was involved with the sermon. He's the bishop of the Anglican Church of Kenya Kapsabet Diocese. We had seen him earlier on at the Chepkorio showground, and I believe now it's a process of them actually accessing the home. Just to continue with the blessings, they had a short prayer at the entrance. I don't know how they'll be able to navigate inside the house, Wakabi, because it's a 3-bedroomed house. There are so many people who want to see how the house has been built. The people who have that privilege, obviously, is, of course, the constructors and the contractor who was involved in this project, and other officials who needed to ensure that every box has been ticked, because this is a unique home for a unique individual. 7 days. This home has been, they have constructed this particular house.
Deliberate, once again, like you said, befitting has been the word I've used all day. Befitting, deliberate, and fitting that, look, there's not much else you can do.
Yes.
So maybe just be able to go in. Of course, this becomes a bit more...
A bit of a slight...
a bit of a hassle, because everyone wants to get in. And again, it's the attention that he draws. Because you only get this kind of attention if you are a prominent person in society, and you can understand why everyone wants to have a look. Everyone wants, first of all, to see. I think there's 2 reasons. One, everyone wants to see how has this house turned out, how has it gone, and on the other hand, it is because of whose house it is. It's Kelvin Kiptum's house. So there will be people wanting to be part and parcel just to see, and like I said, everyone just wants to feel like you had a part, or you were able to see. You know those days, I know we normally say, I was there when this happened.
Right.
And this may not be the best of days, but people want to, I was there when we finally arrested Kelvin Kiptum. We saw his house. This is how the house was done. And once again, I think it's a wonderful gesture. Just the fact that Asenad has a place where he can start. She can start, and where her and her children can start, where Mr. Samson and Mary can also start, so that the loss is huge, but at the very least, there is something. There's something to build on, however little.
And you can see there, which is very important for you to appreciate, it's a fully furnished house. You can see a carpet there. You can see sofa set, modern sofa set. You can see a kitchenette in the background there. It seems an open kitchen plan. You can see PS Hinga there, and also other senior government officials who are in the house. This is the house that has been constructed by the government. This is a board that was promised, and it was built in 7 days. So it's just a way of honoring and appreciating a man who did so much for the country, whose life was tragically cut short on the 11th of February, about 12 days Wakabi ago, less than a fortnight. He was no more. And we are here to just pay tribute to a man who did so much more. You can see there, of course, a lot of attention, security, obviously, understandably. We have... I can only imagine the scenario outside that area, how it is right now. The multitude of people who've turned up in their hundreds, if not if not much more, to pay tribute to Kelvin Kiptum from the point of when we had the funeral service early in the morning until now, 14 minutes past 4 p.m. Wakabi. The energy that all these individuals have to just continue forging on, because it's tough. You can only imagine how draining it can be, especially for the family, especially for the wife, especially for the kids, especially for the mom and dad, and other very, very close family members, Wakabi.
Yes, because for them, it's both, it's a very public function, but for them it's also very, very private. And the way you grieve when in private and in public, I think, are slightly different. So they've also had to tough it out today. It's a really, really tough day on any day, but it's even tougher when you also have to deal with, like now, it's your house, but the public is all of it in your house. So it's tough, Bernard. Well, whichever way you look at it, it's very, 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 very tough. And they have shown incredible grace. You've got to give it to the parents of Kevin, Samson and Mary, to the wife Asenat and the kids. You need a lot of grace just to be able to go through the whole day today and just keep it together. Just keep it together, just keep it together, because like you said, it's a long day. It's just been going and going and going. We are heading to 4:15 and they still haven't completed the whole function for the day, but you just have to keep going. You just have to keep it together, because ultimately, like you said, this is it. This is his day. This is his day. So you just keep it together, just hold it together. It will be over in the end, and you just have to keep going.
I can only imagine how tough it must be for the family as well, Wakabi, because this is their home, this is their new home. But you have all these people inside their home, the sanctity of somebody's home. You can only imagine how you want sometimes for things to be private. You can see gentlemen there just bless. I believe it's a member of the clergy, yes. Another member of the clergy, just ensuring that they're blessing each and every item within that those four walls. That is the kitchen area. Hopefully they'll be heading to the bedroom area for the family, just to bless each and every single item, covering it with special energy, I would say.
Yes, you've got to remember that as a society, we generally are religious. We're a religious society, and this forms a very strong social fabric. Religion. You've heard it from him, whether him praying, whether him asking for his father to pray for him, whether it's the clergy.
He used to do the sign of, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, before he took off. Like
yes.
Once he got to 25, 28, 29K, 30K before he takes off,
yes.
He do the sign of the cross. And once he did that, you knew. This means it's go time. It's business time. So religion obviously has played a huge role in his entire life. It does play a huge role in his entire village, his entire community, and that's why this kind of events have got to, you've got to be able to continue doing it, and you've got to be able, it's part and parcel of what you've got to go through. So like we said, it's tough, it's a long draining day, especially for his family members, but you've got to do it. It's just, there was nothing ever going to be easy about today. Actually, from, like you said, 12 days ago, everything was always going to be tough. Everything was always going to get tougher by the day. The whole of yesterday was tough. Today is tough. But then what do? It's like you said, it's his final race. After today, there's never going to be another race. So you just have to have the grace, see it through, endure, say your goodbyes in the best way you can, and hopefully, when today is done, tomorrow you can start the healing process.
Indeed. And obviously, it just once again draws parallels to long-distance running. Marathon Wakabi, 11 days ago, unfortunately, he passed on. And it's been a journey since then. And Wakabi, this is usually the hardest, especially when you're doing the marathon running. You touched on this earlier. That 35 kilometers mark, hapo ndo msema kweli, that is usually the toughest point when an athlete is competing, especially in long-distance running. Most people feel like the 20 kilometers mark, yes, halfway point, but that 35 kilometers, when the end is so near, but also so far.
Yes,
I
actually think if we were to look at it from a marathon kind of look or angle, this would probably be in the last kilometer. The last kilometer. Where you're now kicking for home, where you now just have to finish. You've done most of the hard work. This is, like you're saying, this is where the pain is a lot, but the end is in sight. So we've had a long day today. It's been a long road, a long journey. now we are there. The end is sight. We are in Iberia. You can see the pictures. You can see the house. We can see where he is. You know where his final resting place is, a few meters away from the main entrance to his house. So now you are really in the final stretch. This is where everyone normally cheers you on and says, just go, just go. If you're breaking the world record, by this point, you know you have broken it. You know it's just a matter of seeing it through. But yes, long journey, tough journey throughout the day. And now it's finally time. It's almost time. You spoke about the sheer number, the sheer size of people. You see just
got an
how
idea
many
of
people
exactly how many people have turned up.
have showed up in Iberia. No wonder we are having connectivity issues, because this is a quiet, and I know this word is used a lot, sleepy, quiet area. You get the feeling that this is really one of those areas. And as you can see, his final resting place not too far away from the main entrance to his house, and where, like you said, his journey will finally conclude. And I also want to just appreciate the family of the late Kelvin Kiptum, because they've allowed us to mourn with them. They've allowed us to be with them in this, because in most instances, when you have an individual of such caliber, usually they allow for attention for a certain period in time. From the point of course, the funeral service. Even yesterday, we had a very public level of mourning. We had, of course, his body there was a public viewing to some extent somewhere within the Eldoret area and in Elgeyo Marakwet area. Today is the final day, but I just want to appreciate the kindness of the family allowing Kenyans and the world at large, because these proceedings are being followed very keenly in the Netherlands. He was set to compete there in the Rotterdam Marathon. 50,000 athletes are going to honor him in a special way. I understand they're going to be having a band. Yes. April 14th was the day. It was his day with destiny. So now that is not going to happen, we are now going to have the athletes honor him. And of course, all the other athletes who are going there to compete, most of them, of course, to set the pace for him, to act as his pacemakers. Now they are still going to go there. But like I read, in fact, in one of our stories early this morning, I forget his name, but him saying, now I'm going to go and compete and run the whole 42-kilometer race, because he'd asked to run most of the 42 kilometers. So now I can go in and do it. So yes, they have been generous. They have been very generous to let us be part of the journey from the first minute to the last minute. To right now, when we are seeing inside their new home, they've just basically said, you know what, we understand who he was in society, we understand what he achieved in such a short time, that we appreciate that the rest of the world needs to do this, and we are letting you guys do it with us. And yes, Bernard, that's not something that happens every so often, and you look at it and you think, yes, his family has been gracious enough to say, you know what, guys, this is a tough journey. You want to be part of it. Let us go together. Let us walk this journey together, because you have as much interest, you have as much, you want to be part of it as much as we are part of it. So why not? And I think that's really unique from a family point of view, because it is tough, Bernard. Anytime you lose a loved one, it is very tough, because the feeling you feel is like no one else. Everyone else can be there, but you feel very alone. So for them to be able to accommodate